Buguma, the headquarters of Asari Toro local government area. The city has a unique rich history dating back to over 130 years. The modern structures and lifestyle of the Buguma people led to its designation as a city by the government of Chief Melford Okilo in 1983. Buguma's most recent and tangible history was written by a British-born naturalized Kalabari indigene, Professor Robin Williams Gray Horton. With very little registered and chronicled history about Buguma, we spoke to a prominent chief of the town.
Buguma was founded 1884. The founding fathers are King Abe. He was the king of the whole of Kalabari. And the chiefs that actually founded Buguma are three prominent chiefs among 27 chiefs that left the old shipping, which is the settlement of all the Calabaris before them, to come to Buguma. They are Chief Judge Amakri, Chief Erekosima, known as Ikiri, and Chief Omekwe Horsford. These were the three prominent chiefs among the 27 other chiefs that founded Buguma in 1884. Buguma has one royal family, which is the King Abi Royal House, which came from King Amakri the first, the Amayana of Kalabari. King Abe is the Amayanabo of Kalabari when Buguma was founded in 1884. But he was on the stool of Amakri the first, because King Abe was the fourth, Amakri the fourth. So there's just one royal house. When Buguma was founded in 1884, the oil, palm, and Kernel trade was still booming. And so the trade that was going on in the old shipping was further extended to the new settlements in 1884. There was still the palm oil and palm kernel trade between the natives and Europeans.
The single road that leads into the town and outwards indeed diminishes our status as a city. Buguma has a landmass of 603 square kilometers and a population of over 251,000 people. Our aerial view highlights the need for a ring road. We sought further confirmation of Buguma's history from other persons.
Buguma was founded in the year 1884, about 138 years ago today. Yeah, they started from our whole shipping. That is the Elama we are talking of. They from there emigrated to Ipokuma, that is opposite Abonima today. That was the place they first of all settled. But due to some certain things, they packed from that place to Buguma here where we are now. That is how we move and how we get up from the old chieftain to Buguma.
Some said the Kalabaris originated from Benin Kingdom. Some say the Kalabaris originated from Ijaw. That's the present Bayelsa. And the Elemama we were talking about were a mixture of people from different places. They come to settle themselves there. And they come from different places. See, the Jaws were there. And Sumibian said part of the Kalabari people were from Calabar. But I think that of Calabar is far-fetched. But the Kalabaris say they originated partly from Benin and partly from the present Bayelsa.
Yes. Buguma. Another testament. And from there, Mama, oh, Asari man, Buguma somewhere. But it transferred to Mulawa to see the people. And I got one making that boy. And I can go to the king both again. The Tabumo. Man, Buguma. I don't believe Buguma. I don't for Buguma one of that. I started, and I wanted. I started me to get at Banib.
Buguma is a city to behold, with numerous residential, academic, commercial, and religious structures. It's almost unbelievable that the city, due to its landlocked nature, has only one major road. Its aerial view, bordered by the Sombrero River, presents the opportunity of a tourist haven. The river contributed immensely to the early commercial development of Buguma, particularly its palm oil, palm kernel, fish, timber, and slave trade with Europeans and neighboring communities along surrounding waterways during and after the 19th century. Several years after Nigeria's independence, Buguma remained an attraction with added economic and social values, but things have changed over time.
In the 70s, I remember when I was a young man, I party a lot. I go to disco, night clubbing, all in Buguma. It makes, then the town was really bubbling. I can remember some of our ex-governors. They don't have anywhere to go and party. They fall back to Buguma weekends. Some of them will be here till Sunday evening or Monday early morning, because the town is calm. Then when you see people, strangers coming into your town, economically, you see, things will begin to work out. Though it's a gradual process, but as they come in, they are coming to spend in the community. They will patronize those that are little businesses. Before you know it, the business will just blows up.
Our fathers and forefathers traded on palm kernel and palm oil business. At that time, the Kalabaris established outlets, settlements, as far up to Uguta in the Imo State, the Orashi River, Orashi area, Egene, Imbiaba, Enegua, Bayelsa, and all over. The Kalabaris established trading ports where they have laborers, their own people. They buy palm oil and palm kernel from the natives. And they bring it down from those places down to the beaches of Buguma, Bonima, Bakana, and so on, and sell to the UAC company all over. So that was a booming business then. And they became very wealthy.
Event, and they were taking all those things. When I say event, and they were taking all those things were done far back, say 7 years ago. It has not been done. Why? The question will come, why? It is because of our good people killing the rivers with this fire of a tin, this oil of a tin. So because of that, they were when there's oil on the river, even fish, for you to get fish is problem. That the fish inside. Then they talk a lot of those things that germinate themselves outside. They cannot get it. So that is why we are lack of those things now.
The main occupation was fishing, but the other trades, they indulge in. They buy and sell. They will come over to Port Harcourt, buy in commercial quantities things that will be needed at home. They have shops all over. The population was very thick. The student population also helped so much. Kalabari National College, they call it Kanako, was established in 1938. One of the first secondary schools that was founded in River State. And the student population was so high, people come from far and near. At that time, they had, students who are from northern origin. They have Yorubas whose parents were residing at Port Harcourt and all that.
Kalabari National College KNC, Buguma, established in 1938, was the first post-primary school in Kalabari land and second in the entire River State. Several prominent sons of Kalabari and Nigeria in general attended KNC. The school's sprawling setting guaranteed all-round academic and extracurricular impact. KNC also contributed to Buguma's economic growth, training prominent indigenes and non-indigenes alike.
There was a lot of business going on in Buguma. The Civil War dealt a great blow. All these commercial activities and all that. At the end of the war, things were no longer the same all over, and that affected the economy of Buguma drastically, seriously. After the Civil War anyway, things still picked up. The fishing occupation came very strong. And it was the main occupation until the militancy, the Niger Delta militancy came. A lot of young people went into this militancy. So many young people were involved. When Yaradua proclaimed amnesty, a good number of them dropped their guns and all that. But it created some bad eggs amongst these youths. Some now come to realize and know what a gun can do. That with a gun in hand, you can silence over 20 people or more to do whatever you command them to do. With that, some of these bad eggs went into the creeks, went into the fishing settlers, and so on. Piracy increased, and so people became scared of their life. Because when these so-called militants and all that, when they come to any fishing port, whatever catchings that the people have, they will take it away from them. At times, they will take the engine boats from their small engine boats with which they go out to fish and do their own businesses and so on. So everything was crippled. Out of fear, a lot of people left the fishing ports. They no longer go to fish. It affected the economy of Buguma. Kalabari is like all Ijaws. All Ijaw tribes are majorly fishermen. They live along the coast. They don't have land for farming. They are purely riverine. And as a result of the environment they are, naturally, fishing was the occupation they indulge in because they don't have land, so they fish. But not everybody was a fisherman. There are other occupations they go to, but majorly, when you talk of occupation, their own occupation, their professional occupation, they are fishermen.
We have the Oporo, that is the Ofingo, the Ingbe, the Isam, Ingolo, and all that. So many of them. But right now, you can't find them. If you must get Ingolo, what I've just mentioned to you, you have to sail to Kola area where the bushfire syndrome is not really affecting them. Not too long I was in Kola. I was opportune to eat Ingolo so much. I was opportune to eat even abajikoli. You know what I'm saying? When you see abaji crab, water crab, very large one. I was able to see Ofingo. Even Odoko was there. But here in Buguma and some of our Kalabari areas, nothing like that.
The women help the men in producing the fishing gears, the fishing nets, everything about the fishing. That was the occupation of the women. They do that in support of their husbands, support of their brothers, whatever. That's what the women do at that time.
Our women, they go to the bush, the mangrove forest to pick flamenco, go bring out fire, ingbe, and all those things to make money.
In all, Buguma and indeed Kalabari land held sway economically and socially until oil spill, oil bunkering and gun-toting youths damaged the beautiful, peaceful tide of this island. Most of the fishing and related activities have ebbed like the receding tides along the waterways of Buguma and its neighbors. Initially, due to oil spills, but worsened now by illegal oil bunkering activities referred to as fire. The youth say their fire activities is a response to poor host community investment by oil companies following their environment and economic crippling activities.
Abonima were lucky because of the place established. The Buguma was established along the Sombrero River. They were lucky in the sense that they have what we may call seaport. But the sea was not deep enough to attract big vessels. I just have small vessels. So these ships came in, the companies came in, Ijaw Elephant, USA, a good number of them. So that brought the palm oil and palm business to Buguma from the hinterland. The ships, merchants buy these products, including timber and so on. So Buguma was buoyant in terms of commercial trade. Buguma hadn't that because Buguma was sort of hinterland. The river, the Saratoga River, was not deep enough to attract vessels to come in. So the Buguma people were the young men at that time went for fishing. There were a lot of fishing settlements along the Atlantic Ocean. And fishing was very good. The fishermen could go into the deep ocean and everywhere. There was fish enough. They buy these fish. They have fishing ports where they settled and do this business. Traders all over. People from Buguma, from Abodima, all over come to trade in this fish. They buy the dry fish, bring it down to Port Harcourt. Even some go to Aba, Were, and all the rest to buy this fish. And so the business was booming. Buguma had sufficient. The chiefs have villages. Every chief has some settlements. Villages, they call it, where they have some lands, they're able to grow food that they need for themselves. And the fish, they go to buy, bring it, sell them in commercial quantities. So life was very good. They were not wanting in any sphere of life. Things were good.
The damage goes beyond fishing and related ventures. Even waterways travel has been affected.
Now, for instance, like when you are in the when you are going to school here, we have the water side there, where we get flying boats, we get other water movable transport. But now we have only one route. That is the motor route to Port Harcourt. That is the only route now we can transport whatever thing we want to do here in Buguma. The waterways are no longer useful in the sense that it was that is what I said earlier. Our fine boys, I won't call them bad, they are good boys. They did not allow us, or they did not allow any movement again in the river. Because whenever they see you, you move with 48, 55, 75 horsepower. Before you know, they've surrounded you in the river to collect those things. So because of that, that road is closed.
Here is the Ekine Square. The square is reserved for group gatherings, cultural events, and royal installations. The Ekine Square tells of the immense influence of the Ekine Society among Buguma people. As you would expect, Buguma has highly developed cultural heritage. From their attires to celebrations, the Kalabaris are graceful, hospitable, and proud.
Like that of the Ekine of Kalabari, the idea as one of the tourist this thing you are talking of. The Ekine idea and other like when you go to like the festive period, when you go to some compound, you see they are playing masquerade, dancing, all sorts of dancing like that of Ogbo, Ogbo, all those plays they do in Buguma here.
So our language and culture seem closer and nearer to the Ijaws. The neighbors are there. And so the Okrikas are there. The Kalabaris are there. The Bonis are there and all that. So we are more, to me, more of Ijaw people than any other tribe.
The way the Kalabari man is a polished man. Well refined, polished man from above. Our way of dressing, like we have the Deity, we have the Woko, we have the Donny, we have Atigra, so many of them. It's our cultural dressing. We inherited it from our great grandfathers. And it has been like that. You see other tribes dressing in that manner, they are copyrights.
Our culture is unique. The reason why I say it is unique, other people learn from us. That is our culture. That the Calabar man culture. Wherever he goes, they will know that this man is from Kalabari. That is his dressing and not the rest. We tell somebody that this man is like as I am now. If I go to Lagos, nobody will tell you that this man acts him well. He might be from Rivers or Kalabari. They mutually act. That's why I say our culture is unique.
The Kalabari culture includes its rich masquerade celebration to mark special events. Often, the masquerades outing tell a story. The culture is largely influenced by the Ekine Sekapo.
Ekine Cultural Society is the main cultural society of all the Calabaris. I cannot say when it originated, but it has been long, maybe from the 15th century, 16th century, like that. It has been there. Up to today, nobody can exactly say how the Ekine Cultural Society come into existence. They will give you different stories. Some said, people saw mermaids at the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. They hid themselves somewhere, copied them, and all that and all that. But all that cannot actually be authenticated. They're all stories. But whatever it is, the Ekine Society is the main cultural society of the Calabaris. It's playing masquerades of different types, and they have their calendar. They know when Ekine will play it. They have their calendar and they follow it out. And somehow, up to now, up to today, they still do it. And Buguma being the traditional headquarters of the Calabaris, the Ekine Society is strongly still being held in Buguma, more than any other Kalabari town. Buguma is also the head of the Kalabari Ekine Sekiapo.
The other strong influence in the busy commercial town is the Akaso goddess.
Akaso is a deity. From stories, these are stories from generation to generation. There was no written down history and story of how our Akaso emerged. But it is known and believed that she's one of the deities, 7 deities in this Niger Delta area. We were told that she has a sister at Billy. She has a sister at Bonny. She has a sister, Tema, and so on and so forth. They said there were 7 of them. The water spirit. And Akaso came purposely to the Kalabari land, as they said, maybe in the 15th century, 16th century, and so on. She was there. And those were days of wars. Wars between the Kalabaris and the Bonnies, between the Kalabari and the Nembes, between the Kalabaris and the Ukrikas, just like that, within this Niger Delta area, along this Atlantic coast. There were all these wars going on. And the Akaso came to Kalabari land in the Elemama and manifested herself physically, as they said, to the people. She had a priest who worship her, who hear what she says and interpret it to ordinary people. So he said she mingled with them, teaching them good things. She forbade a lot of things which were good for the Kalabari people. She forbade bloodshed. She forbade cannibalism. A lot of these things. So she became the head, the mystic head of the Kalabari people. She will lead them to war. Before they go to war, they will consult her and take to her directives and other things, forbidden things they won't do and all that. So she became their own, accepted them, our Mekaso, Wayingi. Wayingi means our mother. She was highly revered. And in those days, there was no Christianity, no Bible, nothing. So they believed in her. And she also helped them in achieving whatever they want to achieve, whether be it war and all that. That's this. Somehow these days, it's no longer so.
It is the town of legend Cardinal Jim Rex Lawson, but this city holds on to some prospects. Buguma and Kalabari as a whole boast of several musicians, actors, professional dancers, painters, and authors who are respected all over Nigeria and beyond.
When we talk of restoration, we may not say people of Buguma. It's transcended above that. Yes, Buguma was his birthplace. His parents, all of them, came from Buguma. I know Rex Lawson very well. We played together, although he's a bit older than me. But we played in the same space, the same compound, played those small Masquerade and all that and all that. And from there, Rex Lawson advanced. It was said one musician, Walter Ikriko, took lesson from Buguma to Calabar, where they formed a dance band in those days. So Rex Lawson started his music right there at home. And at that time, it was not taken serious. But later, when he went out, it became so good. It was a pride to every Kalabari person. For the first time, Kalabari people had their language in radio and all that. In fact, it was crazy. So, Pres Lawson was a hero of the Kalabari people and much honored all over the Niger Delta to even the bigger country like Nigeria. It wasn't all over. So Pres Lawson became very, very influential and successful in his profession.
Similarly, Kalabari land has recorded enviable feats in science, technology, military, and research, and the people are not resting on their oars. Indeed, Buguma is landlocked. The half-hearted investment of oil companies, the incalculable damage caused by oil spills to the environment and the economy of the people, the perennial misadventure of government in establishing need assessment-based infrastructure in Buguma and other Kalabari communities have contributed to widening poverty, receding employment, and investment opportunities. Little wonder there is recourse to violence and self-help by youths from time to time. But all hope is not lost. The city still stands against all odds with an existentialist hope that an expansion plan and flood of industry will bring back calm and the carnival spirit of the people who once hosted the rest of River State every other weekend for parties and ventures. But for now, the town sleeps.